It's Rita here from Picked and Polished, coming at you live, where I love to help you create beautiful things for your home, to sell in your business, and to inspire others in DIY workshops. And tonight is only the second live video of a series I've created to help you learn how to use a Cricut cutting machine to make customized decor for your home, to sell in your business, or to use in workshops if that's something that you love to think about doing, or maybe you already have a creative business and you want to kind of up the game and use something like this to help you create amazing customized decor to sell. Or just, for me, a lot of times it's really, really nice to have this machine, be able to do my own home decor with this machine as well. So my series focuses all on how to create sticky vinyl stencils and reusable stencils for a variety of different decor, both, home decor projects, big and small. So if you're on here with me tonight, say hi so I know that you're watching. And I just want to make sure I can see your comments. And let me know where you're watching from too. Or if it's your first time here, welcome and thanks for hopping on. And be sure to post your questions in the comment feed, and I'll be sure to go back and answer them after the video if I miss them while I'm giving this tutorial. So say hi, let me know you're here. I'm not seeing any of the comments come up, so let me see if I can fix that. Hold tight. Oh, hey, yay, okay. Hey, Melody, how are you tonight? So I've got this series, this video is twofold. So last week we worked on, I showed you guys how to make a basic design in Cricut Design Space. Hi, Wendy, thanks for hopping on tonight. And this part of the video is to show you what we're gonna do with that design, how it cuts on the machine, because a lot of people are sort of like, a lot of people I've heard from either have bought a machine and it's still in the box, or they have a machine, they don't feel like they're ready to really dive in and start using it yet. And so this is what this series is all about to help you with. Hi, Rhonda. Hi, Danielle. So we're going to start with that tonight. Plus, I'm going to carry on with our design that we created last week, was a welcome fall design. And then on top of that, I'm going to show you a new paint finish that I'm testing out. So this isn't the final paint finish. Actually, this is the paint finish here that we're going to be doing tonight. And I'm really excited. Those of you that have been following me for a while know that I love anything farmhousey, rustic, distressed, weathered, layered. That's my favorite sort of thing. So Danielle says, just finished a custom cut for my gram and her 88th birthday. That's awesome. I would love to see a picture. You'll have to share it. Hey, Trisha, I miss you. Hi, Linda from Texas. Thanks for hopping on, you guys. So in case you missed the intro, my name is Rita Freecott. I own Picked and Polished, and I love to help you create beautiful things for your home, to sell in your business, or to inspire others in DIY workshops. And so our series for the whole month of August is all about how to use a Cricut cutting machine, everything from designing, and you'll be, part of the series, you'll be designing with me, helping me create designs. Other parts of the series, like tonight, you'll be helping me prep the vinyl and get it on the board, and you'll get to see what the outcome is. So it's the whole parts and pieces of it all. So I'm super excited you guys are here tonight. Hi, Stacy. Thank you so much. That's so nice of you to say. So I have a wonderful group of ladies in my DIY Decor Makers group, and I'm so excited, you guys, because doors open again on September 15th, and they're only going to be open for a short time, for a little over a week. So if you want your spot held, the link above is for the wait list. So go ahead and click on that when this tutorial is all over. If you have any questions, let me know. All right, so we're gonna get started. If you already subscribed to my email list, you got a free e-plan on how to build a framed out board. Basically, instead of building a frame, you're taking a piece of board and you're framing it out. And I have an e-plan on my website for this. But we're gonna be using this board, the same one I showed you last week. I already gave it a super cool finish, and I'm gonna show you how to do that tonight. But before I do that, I'm going to get started with the cutting part of the process, okay? So that this can be cutting and I can be painting, and then when it's all done, I'll show you how to weed and prepare the vinyl and then we'll get the transfer tape on it. We'll transfer it to our board and see how beautiful it ends up when we're all done. So, so thanks to all of you for being with me tonight. This is super exciting. And this is an older Cricut machine. I have a Cricut Explorer Air, and it's sort of outdated, but it does the same thing as the Cricut Explorer Air 2. It's just the Cricut Explorer Air 2 is 2 times faster with its cutting. So if you're someone that's going to be cranking out a ton of things, then that is definitely the way to go. And to be honest, I think they're phasing out the Cricut Explorer Air anyway, and I love it. The only plug I need to have plugged in for this is the plug into the wall. It's Bluetooth, it's wireless, and this is a much older machine, so the newer ones are the same way. The Cricut Maker is great, in my opinion, for people that, because it has different types of blades. It doesn't just have the rotary blade, or the knife blade, I'm sorry. It has the rotary blades, which allow for much more fine, intricate cuts, and I don't do a lot with paper or with fabric, but if you do, the Cricut Maker might be more something of a better investment for what it is you're looking for. Kima's asked, does the Cricut Maker do the same things? It does, and more. So the Cricut Maker is just like an advanced version of the Cricut Explorer Air 2. And I get that question a lot, like, which machine should I get? And those would be my 2 recommendations. And I also have recommendations for vinyl. I was completely overwhelmed when I first started cutting things. There's so many different vinyls out there, but I have gone through a ton of different types of vinyl. I've done a countless number of DIY workshops with these, and I've settled on the 631 stencil vinyl. And my people and my ladies, my DIY divas in the DIY Decor Makers group, I've heard nothing but great feedback about this. And then I use the paper tape, and I'll put my Amazon link with all of this stuff in it in the feed later on. Yes, you can definitely watch the replay. So if you're catching me live, you'll see the little red button live in the corner. If you're catching me on replay, hashtag replay so I know you were here. And you can still ask your questions. I'll still go back and answer them. So hey, Catherine. So this is the paper tape that I use. And honestly, just figuring out what you need for materials sometimes can be just simplifying it to a couple simple things so you're not wasting your money is such a great thing. So I don't buy the bundles of all the different Cricut vinyls. I don't really care for those, and it's personal preference. My preference is not the Cricut brand. It's the cheaper, actually. I can buy in bulk. I get it right on Amazon. So there's that, all right? So I'm gonna go ahead and show you how simple it is to get my vinyl cut. So I just cut a piece of vinyl from this ginormous roll that I have back here that I buy in bulk. And I have this yucky old mat that I've been using forever. I know it looks so gross. And I'm gonna go ahead and just quickly show you. It's actually already starting to lose a little bit of its stick. When you first get your Cricut mat, one of the big things that nobody told me that I wish they had told me was, you're gonna wanna, hi Meme, hi Beth, how are you guys? You're gonna definitely wanna fuzz your mat. And because you get these, you can get these in different stickiness. You can actually get the light sticky, medium stick, and the like heavy stick or whatever, heavy grip mats. And mine's a 12 by 24. Some people buy the 12 by 12, and that's fine too. But I cut a lot of stencils. I've done ones for big, industrial sort of size signs, all the way down to little home decor signs. So this was definitely worth it for me. But if you get a medium stick or a heavy grip mat, you're definitely going to want to take like a towel or something and lay it over it and pull it up, just so that it fuzzes it and it takes some of the stickiness away. Otherwise, what ends up happening is all the backing gets stuck to the mat. It's just a mess. It's just so frustrating. So if you do that first, you'll have no problem with the mat stickiness. So that's a little quick tip for you tonight. Giving away all my best tips for free in this series during the month of August, hoping to get you guys started on the projects that you want to do, because I don't want the overwhelm of all the information that's out there to stop you from doing the really awesome projects that you want to make. So I really, really love teaching about this. So I'm just going to go ahead and actually, this is a little hack. When my mat's not sticky, I just use a little painter's tape on my mat to get my vinyl to stick down. And if I were doing a reusable stencil, and I was using like a 4mm Mylar, I would definitely want to put some spray adhesive on this mat, because then it would really, the whole surface of the vinyl would need to be stuck down well. So this is when I'm using like a reusable vinyl. It's not quite as important. So can you guys see my machine okay? All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and just feed this in. I need to make sure my blade is, you guys are gonna be amazed. For those of you that have never used a cutting machine before, and actually the silhouettes work very similarly. They just have different designing software. So if you have a silhouette at home, like a Cameo, it's a similar sort of deal. It's just that, sorry, I've got to put my knife blade in. It's just that you're going to be dealing with different design software than what I'm teaching. But you still might gain something from watching the design part of my series as well. There may be some similarities or a crossover there. So I'm just going to make sure that's down good. You always want to make sure there's like at least 10 inches behind your machine so that when this goes through the machine and it cuts, it has some space to do that. So watch how easy this is. We did this design last week on the computer. I don't know if you can see it. Let's see if I can hold it up. My welcome fall design, okay? And hey Kelly, hey Ann. All right, someone says they have 2 silhouettes. And you have 2? Have you used them yet? Because I bet these tutorials will help you too. I'm hoping you have. Let me know. So, all right. So those are my designs, okay, on my phone. And it's this simple. I'm not going to cut the second one. I'm just going to cut this one. That's the one we designed together last week. And it's just as simple as me plugging in my machine, making sure my Bluetooth is connected. You can do this from the computer, an iPad, a phone, whatever. The only computer that I found that doesn't have capability to do design space is the Chromebook. Oh, Ann says, yes, I have an Etsy shop for 3 years and use daily. I bet you do, Ann, because man, when I was selling and making a lot of custom signs and DIY decor and just decor for people's homes and doing more of the workshops, mine was in use all day, every day. Oh, that's awesome. So yeah, so a silhouette will work too. It's just a different machine. Different type of machine. So, all right, so now I'm just going to go to my design, and I'm just going to go to make it. I'm going to replace. I might have to feed this in again. Yeah. All right. Again. I'm just hitting my little feed button. I've got my mode on custom, and I see my design here on the mat, and I can move it down a little bit if I want to. And then I just hit continue. Then I have my setting, like I have my favorite, you guys can't see that. Normally I'm doing this on my computer so you can see this better, but for tonight I'm doing it this way because we're doing the application of the stencil tonight. So on my phone I have one of my favorite settings is stencil vinyl, so I'm just gonna hit that button and I'm gonna go ahead and click the little flashing C and it's gonna go ahead and cut that for me. While that's cutting, we'll do some painting, but you can see it's not that loud. The newer ones might be slightly more quiet, but hi Sylvia, happy Sunday to you too, my friend. She's a DIY diva as well. I got a lot of the divas on here tonight with us. All right, so that's gonna take a second to cut. I have actually one already cut up and ready to weed, but before we do this, I'm gonna get the paint finish done. So I'm gonna turn my camera down so you can see that, okay? I'll show you this really cool paint finish that I did on this board and on this board. This is the board we're going to be using tonight. Hi Josephine. Yeah, these machines are great and they're not that expensive for what they offer, especially if you like to do your own home decor. You can save a lot of money in the end by having one of these, especially if you're a business owner. I highly recommend if you do want to start customizing things or offer workshops, they'll save you a ton of money in the long run. Didn't cut right, so frustrated, try it again, just moved. So Suzanne says, let me just see, Suzanne, if I can see the rest of your comment. She had a Cricut 5 years ago, used it once, didn't cut right, so I got frustrated, haven't tried it again, just moved on to other projects. Okay, This is the perfect time for you to learn with this free series in August. In the DIY Decor Makers group, I have tons of women in there that we're in the same boat, and they, I'm sure, will speak up and say that they have been amazed at what they can do now. Because I keep it simple. I've got all my lessons. I've got like 7 lessons in there for basics. And then we do a project every month. There's a Q&A every week, so there's like plenty of time to ask questions, and if you get stuck, you have like a whole community of women to cheer you on and help you out too. So definitely take a look at that at some point. I'm gonna go ahead and push my camera down so you guys can see. And I know a lot of people do get stuck, and that's why I started the DIY Decor Makers group, so we'd all have a place to encourage each other, and once you get going, you'll be amazed at what you can do. So that's it. That's all it takes to cut a stencil. Easy breezy. All right, so now, hi Deb. Yes, Anne says, give it a try again. You'll find so much to use it for. I even cut out window signage. So thanks for mentioning that, Anne, because I actually do more than just signs with mine. I do, I've like, let's see, do I have my tile? I've done my kitchen tile with stencils. This is a vinyl tile. I've done, you know, sap buckets, and let's see, what else have I done? Things on walls. You can do things on countertops. You can make ornaments. You can even use these sticky stencils. They work really, really well on fabric. So if you wanted to customize some bags or pillows or something, they work really well for that too. So for this finish that I'm going to show you tonight, we're going to be using on my sign, I just sort of dampen the surface of the board. I'm taking Dixie Belle's Gravel Road. I'm just sort of randomly going to rub it on. Okay. Hi, Cindy. I'm going to spray again, and then I'm going to take my blue sponge from Dixie Belle and go, and you can get all this stuff right on my website, pickedandpolishedblog.com. And then I'm just going to go ahead and just wipe it off. And look what a beautiful stain it makes, right? And right over that, I would let it dry for a few minutes. It's not going to take too long if you don't dampen the wood too much. Hi, Sherry. We have somebody from Australia on here. Awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and put some drop cloth on here. Let's see if I have a little, use my little palette. I've got Dixie Belle's drop cloth in a squeeze bottle. And I'm going to go ahead and just scrape. You guys know, those of you that have been following me or in my DIY Decor Makers group, you ladies know how much I love some paint and a scraping tool. But tonight is going to be a little different. It's not going to be as haphazard, okay? So I'm just going to go ahead and take a bunch of paint on this flat edge piece of wood. It's just a piece of like revolutionary plywood or something. I'm just going to go ahead and load the paint on just like that. And then I'm going to pull the extra off just like that, okay? Same thing here. I'm just going to load it up and pull it off. Same with this edge. Just going to get some more paint on there. I can't be stingy with the paint when I do this. I've got to get enough on there. It's kind of messy because you get like drips on the side, but I'm putting a lot of even pressure. And you can see it's just like, let me wipe some of this extra off here. Hold tight. And then I'm just going to go across my board, and it gives like a super cool, like weathered, worn look. Let me know if you guys have tried this technique before. I love it. I haven't really done this one yet, so I'm excited to give it a go tonight with you. I mean, I tried it earlier. I tested it out to make sure it wasn't going to be a total flop before I went live, but you can just sort of wipe off the excess, and same thing here. Mike, you were on earlier. You said you've done this before on different surfaces. So I'd love to see pictures if you guys do this on anything. And you can pull as much off as you want. You can leave as much on as you want, or you could even do like a second layer. But look how cool that is. Let me just, I'm gonna lift up my, see if I can get it like that. See how nice that is? It just gives a nice even finish. And this is a new piece of wood, so there wasn't a lot of texture to it. But if you did this with barnwood, you'd get a whole different look because you'd have more texture with an older piece of wood, more than likely. You'd have like, you know, like the saw marks or whatever. See how cool that is? So that's how I got the finish on, hold on, I'm just gonna set that over there. That's how I got the finish on this one. Same thing, I might have used a little bit heavier paint, but you can see it's already dry now. The first color was Gravel Road, but it was like stained, so that the wood grain would still kind of show through when I pulled the second color off. And the top color is Drop Cloth by Dixie Belle. So I'm gonna go ahead and move my mess over here. And then we can do some weeding of the stencil. And this is actually a good thing to get your kids to do for you if they say that they're bored. This is, my 7-year-old loves to do this. So as long as they can handle the weeding tool or a toothpick without poking anybody's eyes out, then I think you're good. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you how I weed the stencil. So here's the stencil that's cut. I wasted some of the vinyl here, and I'll show you where I'll cut that off later. Just want to make sure you guys can see this. Hold on. Let me just pull that down a little bit more. Okay. So I'm going to take my weeding tool and just go ahead and pull off these letters. Now, if I wanted to do a paint resist or something like a decal that I wanted to transfer, I would just do the opposite. If this were a transfer vinyl or what's the word I'm looking for, like heat transfer vinyl or something like that, and you wanted to do it on, or you wanted to do it on a tumbler or something to that effect, and you wanted to leave the vinyl, you would do the opposite. So you would pull the extra vinyl off, but you would leave all of the letters and the design. I'm just gonna go ahead and pull that little pumpkin off. I've got some little, and when I'm doing workshops, like DIY sign workshops and stuff like that, I always prep. I do all the prep work. I don't have the customer do the prep work. So do you see how in this case, a little bit of my pumpkin thing, that little piece came off. I don't know what happened to it. I can fill that in with paint when I'm done. It's not a big deal. I'm not gonna get in a panic. Just gonna try to enjoy the process as much as I can. And actually weeding can be a lot of fun, but it's not as much fun when you have like a sign workshop and you've got to have like, you know, 25 stencils ready in a day. That can be a little time consuming, but for the most part it's fun and easy in my opinion. All right, so then what we're gonna do is so I don't waste any transfer tape, I'm gonna go ahead and just take this off the top. There we go. And I'm gonna go ahead and flip this over, and you can see, if you look at it through the light, I don't know if the camera's probably not picking it up, but if I hold it up to the light, I can see where my letters are here. So I'm just gonna give them a little extra space because when I'm painting, I wanna have some space around the edges of my vinyl. I don't wanna have to worry about getting paint all over the place. So I'm just gonna neatly use the grid on the back. Yeah, so Suzanne, you may have been using the wrong kind of vinyl, I mean, there's just so many variables. So shoot me a message and I can get you going on the right foot. And definitely all the information, I have all my supply lists and stuff that I use for every project in the DIY Decor Makers group, but I also have an Amazon shop that has the specific type of vinyl that I use and the transfer tape that I use. So that can make all the difference, like the combination of the two. It could be something simple, or you could have made a design that was too small, and when the Cricut tries to cut it, it's unless it's the rotary blade or the maker, that knife blade is not going to cut, you know, let's say you design a word that's like the word welcome and you want it to be like 1 inch by, you know, 2 inches. It's going to have a hard time cutting. So depending on the size of what you're cutting, that has, that will impact the outcome as well. All right, so I'm going to clean up the top. But that can be, you know, it definitely, I spent a lot of years figuring all this stuff out, and my goal is to save you guys from going through the wall banging frustrations that I went through when I was trying to figure it all out on my own. And I'm telling you, I was so overwhelmed by the YouTube videos and stuff that sometimes it was just more than I could. Too much different information was overwhelming to me. So this is the transfer tape, and you see I'm just kind of laying it on top and smoothing it out. And I'm gonna trim off the extra. I always try to cut my stencils nice and straight so that I'm working with a straight surface, like a straight edge on my sign board. Helps me line things up a little more easily. There we go. That's all. That's how simple it is. And then I'm gonna, I'll show you guys. So that's it. So I've got my backing, my transfer tape, and sandwiched in between that is my vinyl, my stencil vinyl. All right. So I'm using 631 stencil vinyl with the transfer paper tape, not the clear tape. I've used a bunch of different combinations for the last, oh gosh, I've been probably doing this for 5 years at least, and I would say this is definitely hands down my favorite. And I have over 80 women in my DIY decor makers group that like this combination too, so I know it's not just, you know, I'm sure everybody has their personal preference, but I think overwhelmingly this is probably the best combination. All right, so I'm gonna, especially for workshops, I find it to be really helpful. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and set my, if you guys wanna learn how to frame out your boards for your own signs, or even, these are awesome for trays too. If you want to make like a big tray with handles, or somebody recommended using this method for like a stovetop cover, go to my website and subscribe, pickedandpolishedblog.com, to get the free opt-in for that. You'll be, if you give the email for our newsletter, you'll get the e-plan on how to do this. And you can either use finishing nails and a hammer or a nail gun, whatever you have on hand. All right, and we do teach you how to build small projects in the DIY Decor Makers group as well every month. So we're gonna go ahead and line this up and see where we want it. You guys see that okay? Let me know if you can't. I'm just gonna try to center it as best eyeball it kinda. I think that's pretty good. So I haven't peeled this off yet. Your first job is gonna be to, and I usually, if I'm doing a workshop, I'll show everybody and then I'll have everybody do it with me. It's the best, seems to be the best method. So we pull off the backing after we kind of rub it down. All right, you can rub it from the top, and your goal is just to get all those little doodads, those loose pieces that don't have anything to hang on to, like right there and right there, stuck to the transfer tape as best as you can. And then you just make sure you have it on a flat surface so that it doesn't get all wrinkled and messed up. And you just carefully pull back. I mean, not carefully. Put some pressure. See how my fingers are pushing down? Put some pressure to it. See that? That's starting to come up, but I'm not going to get worried about it. I'm just going to go back and rub it down. Same thing here. Go back and rub it down. And then peel off my backing. So step number 1, get that backing off. All right. Now, the nice thing about this vinyl too is it's not so sticky that it's going to like stick as soon as you set it down. You can kind of play around with it. If you lay it down and you don't like push it on really hard, it'll still, if you just kind of tap it on, it's still going to peel up. Once you rub it on, you're pretty much like stuck with it. Unless you want to create extra work for yourself, which who wants to do that? So I'm going to go ahead and just, I'm using my edges because they're nice and straight to try to get like a sense of, typically I would measure this out, but since we're going live, I'm just going to go on a whim here, kind of wing it. See how I can lift that back up if I don't like where it is and kind of move it around a little. Just just gonna adjust the sides. And like I said before, being able to customize things like this has saved me a lot of time. It's allowed me to make a lot more money in my business. You know, and just to be able to do DIY workshops and to customize things for my home and, you know, big projects like my kitchen floor and things like that that I would never otherwise be able to afford to go buy, you know, stenciled tile, you know, or anything like that. So, all right. So here you go. Welcome fall. I'm not sure why my camera's not flipped around. Sorry that that's backwards tonight. Hi, Nikki. Hi, Barbara. Thanks for hopping on. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and just paint. I'm thinking I'm going to do the gravel road welcome. What do you guys think? And then definitely the orange pumpkin, right? I'm thinking definitely an orange pumpkin tonight. So a couple tips. Usually when I'm stenciling, I'll use like a flatter headed like craft brush, and I just kind of dab. Oh, you're so sweet. My mom-in-law is on here tonight. Less is more with your paint every day of the week, you guys. Less is more. If you can flick your, hey Karen, oh welcome, I'm glad you're on here. If you can flick your brush and hit the person across from you in the face with paint, you've got too much paint on your brush. That's my rule. So this little guy here is great for touch-ups afterwards, and I always tell people not to worry because no, I forgot to hit the button before I went live, but you guys are clever. You figured out that it says welcome fall, right? I'll definitely take pictures of this stage tomorrow when it's all done. But I always have these little fine tip brushes handy. I like to clean up the edges, and I have some tips for touch-ups, but I'll get to that probably in another one of my lives in this series. I'll teach you all about touching up because you really should be enjoying the process. And if you're so worried about, you know, bleeding or is it going to look nice, trust me, I've done lots and lots of workshops and taught hundreds of women how to do this, and they all leave with a beautiful sign. So there's always a way to fix it. So we're going to go ahead and just take a little bit of paint here, not much at all. I'm going to dab off the extra, and then I'm going to go ahead and just, there's so many different ways to get different finishes. You can blend your lettering with different colors. We're just going to do it plain Jane tonight. I'm actually thinking I should do caviar. I feel like that might not pop enough. I'm a Dixie Belle retailer, so of course I'm using their paint. I prefer the chalk paint much more over any other type of paint because it's way less likely to bleed because it's thicker. So I made sure that my vinyl stuck down good before I get started. Then I'm just gonna tap that on like that. And I'll try to do this quickly so you guys aren't waiting forever. So the cool thing is too, if you want like a distressed lettered look, you can kind of miss some of those spots. You want to definitely hit all the curves and the edges of the letter, but you can just kind of go over and it'll make it look like your letters are distressed. So I'm just kind of going up and down with my brush. I'm careful not to push it underneath the stencil. All right, you guys, what do you guys think about though the fall? Should I do that in orange or just the pumpkin in orange? I need your help. Can't decide. So do we want to do all orange or black and orange, or like it's gonna be, I'm gonna do like a brownish, like a toned down orange, I think. What do you guys think? We could just do the pumpkin in orange, or we could do the whole thing. Ooh, yellow and orange. Pumpkin. Okay, Trisha says the pumpkin. All orange. Let's see who's gonna be. We'll have a couple more. Kim, hi Kim. Just the pumpkin orange. Okay, that's 2 for just the pumpkin. Just the pumpkin, 3. One more. Is it going to be the tiebreaker? Just the pumpkin. Okay, just the pumpkin it is, my friends. Thank you for helping me decide that tonight. Okay, so I'm going to finish up with the fall lettering since I have black already on my brush. And I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of, I'm gonna have the fall be a little bit more distressed looking, so I'm not gonna cover it like all the way. You guys see that I'm like wiping quite a bit off my brush, and you can kind of see the background. So typically, I will, if I want full coverage, my recommendation, like a nice crisp black lettering, I would do one super light coat and go over it with a second coat, and then you will get a nice thick like a sharp coverage. If you want it to be kind of like lighter or distressed looking, just go over it lightly once. You can see I'm leaving some of the back showing through. So we're gonna go ahead and do the pumpkin, just the pumpkin, in the orange, and then I'm thinking I need to do, I don't know, brown and green or something for the little thing. Let me see what I have here. All right, I've got my Spanish moss. That would be a nice color for the green. And I'm gonna add a little bit, I've got my Florida orange here, and I'm gonna custom mix to tone it down a little. I'm gonna add a little bit of the Gravel Road. That's turning it too green. Let's see. I just wanted it a little more earthy than like the bright orange, so I'm just gonna mix. I didn't have my terracotta on hand, and if I had that color on hand, I would have used that instead. Also, if I put some wax over this, like some brown wax, that would be really pretty. So I'm gonna use like a little tone down. Yeah, terracotta would have been nice. I'm gonna tone it down a little bit. I'm just gonna go ahead and give it some. And the nice thing is too, is if I accidentally painted over something like a certain spot and I didn't like it, I could just, you know, paint back over it, let it dry and paint back over it. It's not a big deal. So you don't have to worry about it if that happens. I'm gonna go ahead and get a little bit, I don't have my coffee bean out here, so I'm just gonna makeshift it here. Do a little bit darker on the stem, and then do the Spanish moss for the little leaves here. Whoops. Let's shake that up. Hold on a second. This one hasn't been used in a while, so. Yes, so all the colors are at the Altered Studio. We try to keep everything on hand at all times. Obviously, sometimes things sell way faster than we might, you know, expect. We try to keep 2 of every color on hand there, so definitely head on over if you're local. And if you're not local, you can order any of the Dixie Belle paint products at pickedandpolishedblog.com. Okay, so now I've got my Spanish moss, and I'm just gonna kind of do a subtle color here for that. I didn't want like a super bright green. And then maybe I'll take the lighter, the tiny touch-up brush, and just do some like, you know, like little pumpkin thingamajiggies. Just kind of rub it out a little bit. It's nice because even though you have this like pre-made stencil, there are lots of ways you can still customize your designs. Like you can freehand a lot of things in addition to having that nice crisp stencil. So there's just so many ways you can use it. All right, so now we're pretty much done. It's almost dry, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull it up. Beth says she's doing signs for her niece's baby shower. Aw, I can't wait to see him. Beth is also one of our DIY divas, and so is Gail. Gail, you guys should tell everybody how much you've learned, because you guys are killing it in the group. I love it. I love seeing what everyone is doing. Everybody's so encouraging and supportive of one another, and everybody has so much to offer to the group. Everybody has different strengths and talents. It's like a little happy crafting family in there. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull up my stencil. Normally I would wait for it all to be dry, but I'm not gonna stress about it right now. Just gonna go ahead and pull this up. Here we go. See how easy that is? This is so satisfying, you guys. It's the best part. And then I'm going to use my weeding tool. Anybody else out there a super messy crafter like I am? My shop is always in complete disarray. So if I wanted to add a little bit of that here, I could just, you know, touch it up with a little bit of the lighter color. That's no big deal. Let's see, I'm just gonna go underneath the sticker. Sometimes I think people get in trouble where they try to dig into the wood and it makes a little dent, especially if you're using pine. All right, so here's our adorable welcome fall sign, you guys. You helped me design that the other day. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull up my camera now. Hey, so there it is. In all its beautiful welcome fall glory. Isn't it so cute? You guys helped me figure out what to do on this. I'm so glad that we picked the color scheme together and the design. And you know, if you're someone who loves fabric, you could add a little, you know, some little fabric, like random strips of fabric bow right here, you know, a little something hanging down to kind of fill this space. There's so many different ways you can customize things after you've done the stencil. It makes it super fun. Hi, Katie. Thank you. This will actually probably go to the Altered Studio soon for sale. So, but yes, so stay tuned for my series in August. I'll continue to do the designing behind the scenes with you on my computer, and it'll be like a start to finish sort of thing. We'll do a project together. We'll start with the designing and go to the project. Definitely check out the DIY Decor Makers group. The link is above. You can get on the wait list. And if you want a free e-plan for how to frame out your wood, so you can make your own framed out signs or trays or whatever you want to do, head on over to our website. So thanks you guys so much for joining me tonight. I really appreciate it. I have so much fun. So you guys have a great night. Oh, good, Cindy. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Message me if you have questions. And the doors will be opening for our group on September 15th. And I cannot wait to welcome those of you that want to join us. So we'll see you guys soon. Bye.